Alright, welcome everybody to part 10 of Mix versus Mix. This will be the final video, the final showdown. So today is actually where we're going to do the comparison of our two mixes. And just from listening to just a little bit of both, there's some major differences. I really love Sam's mix. We did things quite a bit differently. His mix is a little bit louder than mine if you look at the waveforms here. So I turned it up on the fader here, just to where I'm hitting -0.1, because if you watched my automation video, you would see that I had it set to -0.5 since this was going to be uploaded to YouTube. But that's okay. It's even with that little volume increase, his is still quite a bit louder than mine. Not quite a bit, just a tad bit. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just go ahead and play both of the mixes all the way through. Then what I'll do is I'll jump back and forth between the two a little bit, and then I'll talk about some of the things that I really liked about his mix, which there's a lot, and then some of the things that we did differently. So we'll go ahead and start with Sam's mix first, and then we'll listen to mine.
When your love came to find me, rescued free by your saving grace and your warming embrace. Everything no seems to hit the ground. And everyone I know tries to push me down. Oh, trying to find a way out. Cannot crawl on my own doubts.
So I really, really love his mix. I love the way his drums sound. They sound very open. I like one of my favorite moments in his mix is right before that second verse. He like drops out the drums and it's just like acoustic guitar and the strings, and it really just makes that second verse sound unique and sound different from the first one, because when the drums come back in, it sounds fresh and new. That's a really, really great technique. That, to me, that really seems like a Graham Cochran technique. I don't know if he was thinking that at all. It could have just been his own thing. But that really, really was a cool moment. I like how he featured the B3. It sounded really great. His vocal effects are great. They're a little bit more heavy-handed than I probably would have done. But it really fits, I mean, the style of this mix. So that's just a to each his own type of thing. It was a really, really great effect. If it were me, I might have just automated it down in some parts, and then in maybe like in the bridge, have that come forward as much. But really, really, I like his mix a lot. And even though it's loud and you can see the waveform looks a little bit compressed, I mean, there's still great dynamics in there, and he just showed a lot of skill with his mixing in there. I mean, uh, it's just really, really a great mix. A couple things that I did a little bit differently was I featured the synth a little bit more. I kind of had like not necessarily a ping pong delay, but a delay that like has two different times on the left and right, to give it a little bit of space. Couple things I did differently also. I had my drums a little bit more laid back than his. Um, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more after we listen to my mix. So if you want to, you can go ahead and turn your speakers up a little bit to compensate for the volume difference. But if not, it's okay. We'll go ahead and listen to it, and then after that, we'll go do a little bit of jumping back and forth between the two mixes, which will be a little bit strange because of the volume difference, but it's okay. And then we'll talk a little bit more about things that we did differently.
Torn between
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed that's different between our mixes right off the bat is to me it seemed like Sam wanted the orchestral part and the like rock band part of the mix to be kind of like equals, or even have like the guitars dominant a little bit throughout the mix, but for the most part equals. That's kind of different than how I approached it. So the way that I approached the mix was kind of to have like the like digital synth sound and string sounds kind of be dominant for like the first half of the mix, and then when those distorted electric guitars come in, then it becomes like a rock band mix. It's kind of how I approached it, and I feel that Sam did it a little bit differently. Um, I mean, he'll correct me if I'm wrong on that, but to me, that's how it sounds just from listening to the two mixes. And not to say that one approach is better than the other. It's just our preferences, and I really, really enjoy both mixes. But I definitely learned some things from listening to Sam's mix that maybe I would have done differently, and differently in my own mix, I should say, because he really had some great moments in there. So let's go ahead and jump back and forth between the two mixes a little bit. Um, I won't babble too much at the end because this will be us going through the song 3 times in one video. But I will do a little bit more comparison at the end, and then we'll call it a day. So let's go ahead and get started.
Torn between every
So to me, another big difference is some of the things that we chose to be like texture pieces versus like a lead role. So for me, the main one, and I know that Sam pointed this out in one of his videos, is that synth part. I definitely had that as like a featured part, like a lead role, and then my strings and keys parts were kind of more texture pieces. As for him, he did the opposite. The synth was kind of a texture piece, and the strings and keys were definitely featured, which is really cool. I really like the sound of both ways. We just both chose to do it differently. Also, I hope that the volume difference wasn't too weird for you guys. I probably could have gone in and tweaked it a little bit more to make them a little bit closer in volume. I know that mine was peaking at minus 10 RMS. I'd say that his is probably about minus 8 RMS, minus 7, somewhere in that range. But it's not too bad. I mean, if you look at the waveforms, it is bigger on his, but we can get over that. Some of the other things, I really liked how in his mix there's a lot of clarity, but what I really liked is the way he handled the low mids in his mix. I feel like maybe in my mix I cut out a little bit too much of that low mids, because if you notice, I do that a lot in my stuff. I cut out the low mids, and it does make it really clean and clear, but sometimes a little bit too much. A little bit, it makes your mix sound a little bit thin. His vocal effect in the bridge sounded amazing. To me, that is just really where that vocal effect shines through. In my opinion, in the verse, it's a little strong. Just overall, his mix is definitely a lot more aggressive than mine. Because if you noticed in throughout the series, I talked about how I want this to be a punchy, somewhat of a rock mix, but also I want it to be laid back, because this song definitely has a very laid back feel, and I really wanted to have some imaging. Now, that being said, his is definitely more aggressive, because that's probably how he heard the song. He probably heard it as like, this is a rock song. I want this to hit hard. And he definitely achieved that. And he definitely did have some wonderful imaging in there. And he did some cool things with his automation. And I just really like his mix a lot. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this series. Please check out Sam's video. I know I'm going to check it out once he uploads it. Please watch the whole series, because it'll really give you a better idea of how both of us made decisions on this mix. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you could give it a thumbs down. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really like this video, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you to anybody who's watched this start to finish. I really appreciate that as well. Please check out Sam's videos, as well as his comparison video, the Showdown. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in my next videos. I'm sure that me and Sam will have many series to come. So thank you so very much, and have a wonderful day.